Mode is, something that you manifest into a natural process. It's who you are. You're working towards something. You're working towards a passion. You are singular vision. You are dog when dog sees a squirrel. You are bull when bull sees red. You are going hard. You're fucking, you're just running towards that fucking finish line, and nothing is going to stop you.
Yeah.
That is mode. And mood is not going to affect that. How you feel on a day-to-day basis, influenced by the trivial happenstances of each individual day, is not going to influence that mode.
Hey there, fit and healthy people. Vaughn and I are back once again with another episode of Transcend.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
So it's been a little while since our last one, but we're glad to be back here with you, and we're glad that you're tuning in. So we appreciate that. Today, we want to discuss a new concept with you that Vaughn and I have been talking a lot about, and that is the idea of mode over mood.
That's right. Essentially, your process each and every day versus your thoughts and your feelings, right? So process versus mindset created by trivial day-to-day happenings.
So the popular thing that a lot of people do is they allow that mood they're in, good or bad, to kind of affect their mode, and it results in the actions that they're carrying out. And if I basically let my mood I'm in always determine my mode, what I'm actually doing, the action I'm putting in, it would look a lot different than it actually does now. So very often my mood is different than my mode, or my mode is different than my mood, and I basically have to push the bad mood aside if that's the case, and say, okay, well, I'm gonna fucking do it anyway, because this is my standard. And just because I feel like shit today, or just because I feel down, or just because something didn't go my way, I can't let that affect me and the results that are coming out. So.
Just keep swimming, right? So I feel like we're still kind of talking about abstract concepts here, right? So like, what exactly is mode? And I like to think about mode as essentially something natural, something inherent to our very nature, right? So we can create habits all we want. You can say like, okay, I need to eat healthier, or I need to start going to the gym, or I need to start working on this project or this task, whatever have you. We get into this mindset. Okay, we get into this basic state where we're building habits out of necessity, and not necessarily doing things that we want to be doing. There are always going to be things that obviously, like, fuck this, right? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this today. But there's always going to be kind of a way to make that easier. And I think personally, my experience with this is that if you kind of are able to incorporate your habitual actions into your natural state, kind of how you naturally function throughout the day, what is inherent to you, then it's going to be a lot easier. Let me give you an example. I go to the gym regularly, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. It's been 5 lately because my body's been like broken. I swear, like every joint is just like just gone right now. It's bad. But oops.
I think 2 rest days is reasonable.
two rest days
2 out of
is
7.
Yeah, 2 rest days is very reasonable. I used to be like, no, 7 days a week. I'm hardcore. 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way, guys. Take rest days. But that's aside the point. I go to the gym a lot. I'm a regular gym goer. I like going early in the morning. I'm a morning person, and that is because I'm not a very social person. I'm actually pretty introverted. I'm pretty antisocial. I like early mornings. When I first started working out back in senior year of high school. Well, that's when I started first going to the gym. I'd been working out a little bit before that. But when I first started going to the gym, I just started getting up at like 3:30 in the morning and going. And you know
I fell
that
asleep later than that.
yeah, we're on really different schedules.
Yeah.
But that was just like I enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting up early because that's when the whole world was asleep and like I was the only one up, and it was cool, you know. It's like I'm starting my day before everybody else. I don't have to deal with the huge crowds. I don't have to deal with the traffic driving to the
Yeah.
gym. This is awesome.
It's my same thought process of staying up late. Is like everyone else is already asleep. This
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no distractions getting in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially that just but it felt natural, right? And that's kind of the concept I want to get back to is like
Mm.
that was who I am, right? That's who I am as a person. I'm kind of antisocial. I don't like the crowds, and so I like early mornings, or in your case, I guess late nights.
Yeah.
But I made my gym correlate with that aspect of who I am, right? I made that habit. I incorporated that habit into my natural process as a human.
Right.
And when you're doing this, you have to like really kind of evaluate like who am I as a person, right? Like how do I work best?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
you know, if you're able to incorporate a new habit into the framework of how you work best, kind of based on the person you are, then it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to maintain that habit, to build on it, and to, better yourself.
Yeah. And I think finishing each day proud
Hmm.
of the day and what you put into it is what keeps us sane, what keeps us happy. What keeps us wanting to go from one day to the next, and so on and so forth. And I
Hmm.
think a small version of an example of making it easier on ourselves to build habits is, for example, like reading for me is a habit that I try to incorporate in my life and to keep in
Hmm.
my life, because it's growth, it's constant growth,
Yeah.
and we have never learned it all at any point in our life. And so something I do to make that easier is I take my book and I put it on my bed. So,
Hmm.
and because I read right before bed every night,
Yeah.
and that's my habit. Sometimes I'll even open the book, put it on my bed, and then when I actually get in bed, after laundry or whatever, brushing my teeth or whatever, it's ready to go. It's ready to read, and it's a lot harder for me then to negotiate with myself and say, I changed my mind, and close the book and put it away.
Hmm.
And so, same thing with all kinds of things. If one day I'm not feeling like working out, which actually is a lot of days, but I never allow that to
Yeah.
to control whether I
Yeah.
do or not. On those days, I'll get my pre-workout ready and put it on the counter or in my car, wherever I'm going to be. So
Yeah.
in other words, we put the things that make our habits, that build our habits, right in front of our face, right in our path.
Hmm.
No matter how big or small those examples are, is we figure out ways to make it automatic, systematized, to make it just easier on ourselves.
Yeah. So you're kind of like, let me get this straight. You're basically kind of automating the process. You're making it easier. You're kind of like generating a flow for yourself
Mm-hmm.
in your day-to-day life. That's a really good idea. In fact, I think I'm going to start incorporating some of that stuff myself. I mean, for me, um, yeah, kind of the same thing. Uh, when I describe going to the gym, which is a big habit in my life now, and I have obvious goals oriented around personal fitness, physical fitness. Um, when I think of the gym and when I kind of relate it to this idea of mode, I think about it like this. When I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, that's typically when I wake up. Um, I'm literally just up out of bed and on my way to the gym. There's really not. any process of like like, oh, do I feel like going to the gym this morning, or what else do I have to do this morning, or
Yeah.
is there anything that takes priority over going to the gym? No, none of that happens. It's
Mm.
literally just like I wake up and then I'm on my way to the gym. It's as
Right.
natural a process as like eating or sleeping or taking a shit or something. I swear, it is just a natural human process for me.
And
Like,
so
I
that
wake up.
that became a habit for you, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it wasn't like that from day one where it was just automatic for you.
no, but I made it easier on myself because I just, the person I am, I just enjoy like not being around huge crowds of people. And so the early morning actually made it easier for me.
Mm.
It made it natural. And so kind of the same thing as you, where it's like, yeah, you put things out, you make things easier, more readily available for yourself. And that just kind of facilitates
Right.
the habit building, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same for me as if I worked a full day and had to go straight to the gym,
Hmm.
I'm a lot less likely and a lot less willing to do that. And so, a habit another habit I've created over time is getting a quick power nap after work, and that for me
Mm.
it revitalizes me for another 6, 7, 8 hours.
Wow.
And so that's how I kind of build my days, kind of in two large halves.
Hmm.
So one is work, and then the second half is the gym, and then all my personal growth things like reading and all these personal development
Nice.
type
Yeah.
of items.
Yeah.
And so it's in two halves, and I get to rest in between in order to revitalize myself. And I think a lot of people struggle to make it through the whole day because it's they sleep and then they work all day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Speaking on that, you brought up a good point. And the point you brought up is about people struggling, right? Like people who are just going about their day, right? They're building a habit, right? They have a routine.
mhm,
These people have a routine, they have habits, but they are so hard to keep up because these habits don't align with, their natural processes, their natural flows, who they are as people, or how they most efficiently work. Um, I'll give you a personal example. Right now, just my job. I like my job. It's really flexible with my school hours, and that's why I have it. But God, it gets kind of boring and tedious at times. And I'll be sitting looking at my computer screen for just hours a day. And I'm not the kind of person who is comfortable just looking at a screen all day. Like,
yeah,
I like to be up, I like to be moving, I like
you're
to
a
be
lot more
engaged.
physical than that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, in thinking about that, yeah, okay, I've built a habit, I've built a routine out of my work, but it is hard to keep that up. And sometimes, I'll have a day where it's just like, God damn, I'm tired, or I'm not focused, uh, or something comes up, and I'll be like, I'll just work more tomorrow, and I'm just gonna divert and do something else. And while these diversions might be healthy, in some instances, there's also that aspect of, well, if this were a truly ingrained habit, if this were something that were really working efficiently for us, or for me, I should say, that wouldn't happen. That diversion wouldn't happen. I'll tell you what, there is to, never a fucking day where I'm not going to the gym. On a day that I go to the gym, there's never I go unless I'm like literally like throwing up my guts or something.
Yeah, or it's more beneficial to your body to
Yeah,
not go, right?
yeah. But like I'm going pretty much regardless, right?
Yeah,
And that's because it's just become such a natural process. It's like eating for me. I'm wake up and then I go to the gym.
right.
And if you really want to grow, I think that's how you need to incorporate your habits. Is like they just need to become part of your natural process versus your enforced process. There's a difference.
Yeah, and this is a lot easier to do with things we want to do it with.
Hmm.
You know, Um, but sometimes the things we want and the things we need are different, and
Hmm.
people struggle to create habits around accomplishing what they need versus what they want.
Yeah.
And so the challenge becomes turning some of your needs into wants.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of look at it in a new lens. Is something needs to change. You need to improve in a certain area, but you don't want it.
Yeah.
It's not something that you're acting on. It's not something you're getting up and saying, okay, I'm going to work on this until it's not a worry anymore
Yeah.
or a concern. And so we have to figure out ways to turn those needs that we don't want to
Hmm.
work on into wants that we want to
Yeah.
work on.
I guess it's all about finding your why, right? Your purpose, right? I mean, that sounds so fucking stereotypical. Like it sounds like so cookie cutter, like, oh, find your purpose, find your passion. But guys, it's true. It's so
Yeah.
true. Like, let's just take let's take school for an example, because I think that most people can say, school, oh my god, classes, if you're a student in high school or in college, what have you, trade school, whatever, you'll probably kind of understand this, right? There are going to be classes that are interesting that you enjoy, and then there are going to be other classes where you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
This sucks. I'm not interested in this. This is boring. This is difficult. I don't want to do this. I don't want to study. I don't want to put in the work. But you still have to. And something for me that helps me is to look at it more big picture, right? It's not about the class. It's not about that mundane task you have to do. It's about what you're earning out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I have a class where I'm just like, what is the point of this class? I have to remind myself, the point of this class is your fucking college degree.
Yeah.
It's that piece of paper at the end that shows your future employer that you put in that work, and that's going to get you a good paying job
Mm-hmm.
and financial security. Like, those are the kinds of things that you need to be thinking about when you're doing these perceivably mundane
Yeah.
or like undesirable tasks.
Yeah. And guess what? Like a lot of successful people that we know the names of, and a lot that we don't. Um, they are standing at the top of the mountain
Hmm.
and have accomplished everything they set out to in
Yeah.
life so far, and all these things that they've achieved are like, they seem astronomical to us, they seem impossible to us, but guess what? They did those things that they hated doing at one point, and they
Hmm.
they figured out a way to make it enjoyable. They figured out a way, they turned their needs into wants and made it happen, and
Yeah.
it got them to where they were. And those classes they had to sit through, or all the strenuous tasks they had to go through, those were tiny dots in their path of that they can look back on now, being at the top of that mountain, which got them to where they were. And without any single one of those dots or moments that they pushed through what they didn't want to do,
Hmm.
those are what got them there.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. They had a vision, right? They had some sort of end goal in mind. And when you have an end goal, right? When you have something you're working towards, it's a lot easier to kind of manifest that mundane activity into something that you can feel really good about, and something that you might even start enjoying every day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's kind of the gym for me. I mean, a lot of people go in there and they're like, oh my god, more working out, you god, this sucks, this hurts, why? And for me, when I first started working out, whenever, I mean, that's kind of that it was the same way. But you start seeing progress, and you start building, like, making these goals for yourself, and then when you hit that goal, it's really cool. And eventually you start associating that pain with the pleasure of achieving your goal, and it almost, the work itself becomes more enjoyable. And I think, just going off of that, having that end goal, right? Having that thing you're working towards, having your purpose, your passion, whatever, It's really important because there are a lot of people who work a shit ton but don't really go anywhere. They're working without a vision. And if you're working without a vision, then it's going to be really hard to develop any kind of good habit off of that. Right, Casey? There's like a
Yeah,
difference between being productive and being busy.
yeah, definitely. And how many people do we know that are busy their whole lives every day,
Yeah.
and they don't really have a passion or a
Hmm.
major purpose? They don't have something that, if you sat down in a conversation with them, they have a topic that, puts a sparkle in their eye,
Hmm.
and they think that they're productive every day, doing their jobs, going through meetings, phone calls, and all these,
Yeah.
these things that really don't relate to anything they're passionate about. But they're not
Hmm.
productive. They're busy,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are busy their whole lives and then die,
That's right. Yeah.
and on their deathbeds before they clock out for good,
Hmm.
they realized, oh shit, I'm just not realizing this, that I was busy my whole life instead of productive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
It's crazy
a
to even think about.
that's a really sad thing to it's just like, oh,
And
I am dying and I have now realized that my entire life was void of any higher meaning.
and guess what? They definitely think about their passions on their deathbed,
Yeah,
but in a different light.
it's called
Of
regret,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
I regretted never going for it. I regretted never following that. So if you have something that you like, and I'm sure you do, I think most people like something, you
Yeah,
should be doing that. Or you should be doing things that are going to progress you to a stage where you're going to be able to do that or do it well,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And I know people middle aged, people very close to me also, that I don't even know if they have something they like in life. I mean, that they love.
Yeah.
They like a lot of things,
Mhm.
but it's almost like if they ever had a passion for anything or a major goal or vision for anything, it's been buried,
Mm.
and they're almost robotic
Yeah.
because their passion is no longer alive.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they're going to live the rest of their life unless something severe changes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so I mean, those people didn't really find their mode per se. They didn't really, find a higher purpose or develop a habit that they were able to incorporate into their natural persona, their essential state of being, right? And for that reason, they ended up in this kind of dull, monotonous routine that then sort of, I guess, lobotomized them in a sense, stripped away, you know, their really the core essence of who they are, and that might still exist, but then, like you said, it's buried,
yeah,
right? Um, and if you feel like this and you're listening, take note, please. Like
yeah,
we're not saying like, oh, if you have gotten yourself into a rut in life, then you're hopeless. No, we're not saying that. We're saying that if you've gotten yourself into a rut in life, fucking do something about
yeah,
it before it's too late and you're just laying there on your deathbed thinking about all the things that you
yeah,
could have done with your life that you just didn't do because you thought that they weren't possible.
yeah. And that, I think is my biggest fear that I have
Yeah.
is, being elderly and not with much life left,
Mm-hmm.
and looking back and realizing how much I had a goal for at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just remembering all these things that I was supposed to do, that I was passionate about at one point, just kind of vanished in thin air, and life took control and just kind of buried those passions.
Yeah.
And that honestly is, I can't imagine, but that is my worst fear.
I think that's pretty high up there on my list of worst fears too. That and clowns. I really don't like clowns. Uh, there's something about the painted faces, man. I got.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I agree, and essentially our point is this: mode is, something that you manifest into a natural process. It's who you are. You're working towards something. You're working towards a passion. You are singular vision. You are dog when dog sees a squirrel. You are bull when bull sees red. You are going hard. You're fucking, you're just running towards that fucking finish line, and nothing is going to stop you.
Yeah.
That is mode. And mood is not going to affect that. How you feel on a day-to-day basis, influenced by the trivial happenstances of each individual day, is not going to influence that mode, that driving work, that automation, as Casey put it. um, that's essentially mode over mood in a nutshell. And building habits can be difficult, right? It can be hard, but building a good habit, right, is going to take, obviously, a goal. It's going to take a passion. It's going to be taking, something you want to be, something you very much desire to be, and it's going to be a lot of work. I mean, we're not saying that putting something into your natural state of being isn't going to be a lot of work. Still, I mean, you're going to have to work.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot of pain. But as we say, no pain, no gain, man. You just got to embrace it. You got to recognize progress where progress is due, and you got to let it motivate you to keep on going and to, strive to be a better person each and every day. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I got to say about that.
Yeah. And so for those of you who can't think of something off the top of your head where you know you need to improve and create good habits for, or have that purpose, you're probably starting a little further back than the rest of the crowd. Mm-hmm. And so if that's the case right now, if you don't even know what your passion is anymore, I'm glad you found this. You found us saying these things to you. You really have to take a step back and look at what the fuck your life is and what it's turned into.
That's right.
And evaluate and realize, shit, I have lost it.
Yeah.
And we know that's not the majority of, our listeners, our transcenders, listening in on us every episode and doing all the great things to make their lives better. We know that's not you guys, but if you're in those shoes, it's really important to take a time out from life and really think about where you're at and where you're going, because whatever the case may be, you're going there fast.
Mm-hmm. And again, don't let this get you down, right? If you don't have a passion that you can think of off the top of your head, don't let it get you down. There's a lot of really cool shit in this world, and there is something for everybody. And you're going to find that passion not by doing your day-to-day routine, right? Not by doing your monotonous work grind or whatever. You're going to do it by exploring. Even if that means just sitting down at your fucking computer or scrolling on your phone and just looking through shit and being like, hey, that's kind of cool. Or hey, that's kind of cool. I like that. Or I like that. If you like something, if you think something is cool, and if you just cannot think of any sort of passion going on in your head, you can't pull anything out of there to kind of work on anything about who you are. If you are really in those shoes, then I implore you to just get on your phone, get on the computer, go for a walk, go for a drive, do whatever. Look at the things that kind of stand out to you that are maybe, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing, catch your eye, things that make you smile, things that make you laugh, or go, hey, damn, that's kind of cool. Look at those things, take in those things, regard them, and think, okay, there are things in this world that I like. Why are they not a bigger part of my life? Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have kind of signals that reach out to us, almost like a cause of nature, to tell us what what we really enjoy or admire in life, and those things do really stand out to us, and
They do.
we should take notice of that and realize that, if that's not something that we're really evaluating why it's sticking out to us like that, then we should, we should take a step back and look at that and say, maybe there's something here for me, and that's how a lot of professionals, whatever the field may be, find their passion.
That's right. Yeah.
Is they weren't raised into it or put into it by their social circles or programming. Is it actually stuck out to them like a cause of nature, and they went with it. They followed it until they became the best in the world at that thing.
And again, you bring up nature, right? It's a natural process, right? And that is what mode means. It is natural. It is inherent. It is what stands out to you and how you can incorporate a habitual behavior to increase, your ability to reach those goals, to be able to grasp those things that stand out to you, to be able to become those things, right? That's what mode is. And yeah, it has to be the most powerful driving force in your life.
And if you know what you want, if you know what you should be or should have, then look to those as examples of the people who have what that is, or are what that is, and realize that they created these fucking habits, and that is the reason they are where they are. And just understand that that's going to be necessary, to build those habits around the lifestyle that requires, and if you just follow these habits consistently, day in, day out, and never negotiate with yourself, it's going to become natural, and that's the whole the whole definition of habit, is it's something that becomes automated and you don't really think about it. It's our definition anyways, and I think it matches the real definition pretty closely. And a lot of scientific studies have shown, several of them have shown, that doing something for 21 days straight in a row, or 3 weeks, you're much, much more likely to keep that habit long term into the future than, kind of being wishy-washy, doing it for a few days and then a few days off, or one day on, one day off, or going 2 weeks and then a week off. If you can stay at this consistently for a lot of days in a row, then it's pretty much going to be an auto-generated habit.
And just going off of that, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to do this 21 day, I guess that's 3 weeks, right? For you to do this 3 week long habit building process, it's going to be a lot easier for you to maintain, to stay true to what you're doing. If you before you embark on this journey, you think to yourself, okay, how do I work best? What kind of person am I? And essentially incorporate that habitual process into kind of just your natural flow as is going to be a hell of a lot easier. I mean, for me, incorporating the gym into my life was fucking easy because I figured out a way to do it where it matched my flow. It matched kind of the person who I was. It was easy for me. And it can be easy for you too if you just sort of sit down and evaluate, like think yourself through a little bit. And the take those 21 days, take those 3 weeks, see where you get. I think that you might be onto something really profound if you're able to generate a routine working towards something you really love or really, really want, and have essentially been able to stay on it for that long. I think that you'll have found something profound.
Think about 21 days in the grand scheme of how long our life is.
Yeah.
Now, life is short, but 21 days is a blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye. Yeah. It's yeah.
And so
not even a month. Not even a month.
Not even a month. So at least give it a chance. 21 days is a chance. It's a blink of an eye. And so at least give it the credit that deserves, to experiment,
Yeah.
and those are the things that you should have in life, and god damn, that deserves at least 21 days.
Of course. And some things don't work out, doesn't mean you can't try something else, right? Just if you're one of those people where, oh shit, it's not working out, then try something else. Keep trying. Keep
Yeah.
trying until something sticks, man.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Just keep experimenting, keep trying, keep living. God, our lives are too short not to fucking live them, you
Yeah.
know?
It's so much better to try and fail 1,000,000 times in life than to never try and never fail. And just in doing that, your whole life becomes one failure, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Do not be a failure.
Be a failure many, 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 many times, and then you'll be a success.
There you go.
No one said, I'm sure you guys have heard this before, no one said that any of this is going to be easy. But also, no one said it's going to be that hard if, you build it into a habit.
Yeah.
And it becomes way less hard once that happens.
I mean, once it becomes natural for you, putting in that work is just going to be like eating, sleeping, or taking a shit. It's just going to be a process, a biological, inherent human process for you. And,
and just like
that's how you know. Yeah.
Just like taking a shit, it's going to feel wrong if you don't do it.
That's right.
So guys, just remember mode over mood. You have to understand both of them and how they relate, but also you must be able to separate the two and never let your mood determine your mode. We appreciate you so much listening and tuning in to us once again. We're going to keep these episodes coming at you. We're going to do our best to help ignite you each day through these episodes and just keep you motivated for life and the things you want your life to be.
Go ahead, like, share, please tell your friends about us, get our name out, get the word out on us. We think that what we have to say could potentially help some people. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.